Did Batman and Superman yield when Captain America threw his mighty shield? And did DC finally get their act together? And how did Guardians do at the summer box office this week? All of these questions will be answered and more in this episode of Film Smart.
So for today's episode, we're starting off by talking about the Batman vs. Superman release date moved earlier, March 25th of 2015. It's exciting news. We'll get to see this movie earlier. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I pretty much share the same thoughts. I mean, who wouldn't want to see the movie earlier?
Right.
Yeah, I think we speak for a lot of people when we say that's great news. I don't know if anybody's disappointed
that we get to see it earlier.
Well, I mean, some critics are going to say they rushed it. Like, people are going to do that.
I don't think people are, only because it was only moved like a little over a month. Mm-hmm. So if people say that, they need to quit their jobs.
There's a reason why they're called critics. It's their job to criticize.
I like critics, but there's a certain point when it's maybe you should rethink your career.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's great news, and stop with the whole Captain America pushed him off.
Yeah. They're not running away from Captain America.
Captain America, they did have the date first, but they're not running away from anything.
Mm-hmm. A Warner Brothers executive actually came out and said why they moved. He said that they didn't think Marvel would have the movie ready by that date.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't
really know what to think, but I guess that's kind of good reasoning. But
I'd rather wait another few months for a movie and have it be good than have another Spider-Man 2. But
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
But
the thing is, we're not waiting. We're getting it earlier. So
it's going to be nice to see.
So what did the executive say? He said
that they put it on May 6th because they didn't think Marvel would have that whatever film they were going to do ready by that time.
The first time. Mm-hmm. Okay, and they moved it to May 6th.
Yeah, and then they announced, because you remember they had moved it, and then Marvel announced it was Captain America 3, like a day after. Mm-hmm. So in a way, and
because Marvel said there was a date that day, and then they didn't say what the date was. Okay, so but this is good news, and clearly things are going well. I don't think that means the film is moving any faster. I think they've been planning to do this for a while.
I think they could have released it even just later in 2015.
Yeah,
they probably could have.
Honestly, it's a marketing strategy. Moving it a month earlier, it's just going to get people more excited.
That would have been crazy if it came out if it's December of 2015 when Star Wars comes out. Just blow up the box.
Well, but that's almost
it
like
would blow up the box.
Yeah, I mean it's a chaos of interest. Some people do it almost feel like a
studios
Heat versus Spurs.
James Bond, Mission Impossible, Avengers, Batman vs Superman, and Star Wars should all come out on the same day. Yeah,
only one can survive.
The box office would definitely blow up.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Could you imagine going down the street to a movie theater
and seeing all of those blockbusters opening today? Oh my gosh. The line would be...
That would be... No one would buy their tickets there. Everyone would pre-buy them.
They would have to build a whole nother movie theater.
I would be seeing 3 movies that day. Because I would go see... I wouldn't see all 5 because I just can't do that.
Yeah, because that's the next day.
Yeah, I would see both the superheroes and Star Wars, and the next day I'd see James Bond at Mission Impossible.
All right, well, we should move on to our next topic. Next we're going to be talking about how DC actually got their act together. They decided to finally release 9 dates, movie dates from 2016 to 2020. We don't really know much else. We do know, it's exciting news that we are going to get movies. Mm-hmm. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I like it. I mean, we don't know what the actual movies are, so I mean, it's
right. You can't.
But we can get an idea. A couple months ago, or a month and a half ago, I guess, we got the Nikki Fink thing, which is saying, we're going to get a Green Lantern, Flash movie,
Shazam,
Sandman. Yeah, and I'm assuming a lot of those dates are true. I mean, not the dates. I'm assuming a lot of those
movies.
I'm sure we're going to get a Shazam movie, of course. Obviously, they already said we're getting a Justice League movie, and I'm sure of those 9 dates, there's probably 2 or 3 Justice League movies just in that.
Most likely.
And then I'm sure there's probably a Green Lantern or a Flash maybe together. I don't know. Maybe a Cyborg movie. And maybe there's some surprises like a Green Arrow movie or something. I don't know. But it's exciting to think about it because I heard that the lineup for the DC or the Justice League movie is supposed to be Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Shazam,
Cyborg,
and then who was the 6th person?
Aquaman.
Aquaman. Yeah. Those were supposed to be the
weird
first
mix of
Justice
people,
League.
right?
Yeah, it's usually it's different because you think about it, they don't have Green Lantern and Flash.
Mhm.
I mean, isn't this going to be? Well, we're assuming this is going to follow up the Batman versus Superman, and it's going to be different. Fighting against each other to fighting on the same team.
And one of the dates is interesting because it's like August 6, 2016,
Mhm.
which is only a few months after Batman versus Superman.
Mhm.
And you said Zack Snyder, or was it Zack Snyder who said that we were getting a Justice League movie before we expect?
No, it was
somebody else.
It was somebody else. I don't remember what it came from. I think I read it on a website.
Mhm.
It was a reputable website. But he said that he was teasing that we might get Justice League sooner than we thought. It might not be 2 to 3 years after. It might be maybe the same year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
might pull a Batman versus Superman, but actually make a substantial move.
That could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Like I
And
said,
what I suspect, since people are saying about the Justice League lineup, which isn't confirmed, I would suspect they would do that Justice League film, and then they would do a Green Lantern Flash movie together.
And introduce
And that can kind of introduce a new Green Lantern after that garbage with Ryan Reynolds. And then you could introduce Flash into the film world. Because a lot of these characters, the interesting thing is that all these characters are extremely famous.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
we all know
everyone
who
knows
the
who
Flash
they
is.
are.
Everybody knows
I mean,
Flash,
there's-
Green Lantern. A lot of
There's
people know Shazam.
SpongeBob episodes about these. I mean, come on.
And everybody knows
Yeah.
Superman.
Everybody knows Aquaman. But aside from Batman and Superman, these people don't have movies,
Mm-hmm.
which is the strange thing.
Well,
Yeah.
with these 9 DC films, one of them has to be a solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty exciting in its own right that we're finally getting.
And probably one of
Hopefully.
them's a Batman movie.
Hopefully a Wonder Woman.
No, yeah, Wonder Woman movie.
I'm really
sure.
rooting for Wonder Woman.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
think single films probably Man of Steel 2, a Batman, a Wonder Woman, a Shazam, and then team up movies Justice League and then a Green Lantern Flash, which I think is becoming more true.
Mhm.
I think that's true. So yeah, this is definitely good news. Yeah, I like the date. It's going all the way to 2020, right?
Mm-hmm. From 2016.
Yeah. And at one point it said, I read something, and it's not just DC, but I think it's 2017. There's going to be 8 superhero movies, Marvel and DC.
And from 2016 to
8
2020,
superhero movies.
through all the studios that make superhero movies, it's 30.
Just think about how many movies 8 movies is. That's literally a superhero movie every month and a half. like
yeah.
Sounds like
like-
heaven.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like
But
You know.
the other thing is from 2016 to what did you say? 2016 to when?
2020 or 2020.
That they said there was going to be 30 superhero
In total.
films.
I mean,
My gosh.
30.
that's-
Have there even been 30 superhero films since the first Superman movie?
I got, whoa.
I think that's
Well,
the amount
and
of
This is
superhero-
the age of superheroes.
30?
Well, and you also got to figure the new abilities with CGI, the new everything. Okay, you have your older superhero movies. That's a thing in the past. Our kids are going to be. We watched this and that. They're going to watch that and go, this is a joke. Like someone could have done this with dolls, and
Yeah, now when we tell our
We're
kids
going to be
about-
those old people that go, your movies are nothing, nowhere
Right.
near as good as ours.
But I feel like technology is just moving so fast that even when we talk to our kids, they're still going to be impressed a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Because-
yeah,
That was phenomenal with the technology you
Yeah.
guys had.
Because,
right.
I mean, obviously the technology can move farther, but I don't know. I think we're getting to a point where it's almost at its peak.
I
and
don't.
you can't get much
I don't
further.
think there is a peak.
You
Yeah.
don't? I don't. At some point, I feel like you can't get much farther.
Well, because I mean, yeah, but you ask our parents, do you ever think you'd be able to carry around a phone that could access the internet? Our phones were hooked into the wall. That's they never thought of that. So
Stone Age.
right, there's there might not be movie theaters come 2025.
I hope not, because
I enjoy that experience.
I've heard some certain filmmakers like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas saying they're worried about the future of film, about
Mhm.
what's
Yeah.
going to happen with theaters. And then I've heard some more optimistic people. I think it might have been Christopher Nolan, who actually said for people who are interested in film and filmmakers, it's pretty inspiring, actually. He said something along the lines, I think it was him, it might have been somebody else, but they said that they're never going to go away, and movie theaters are never going to go away because it's always something that movie theaters are always there for people, for relaxation and during a time of need. They're always there, so they're not going to go away. So don't let that discourage you. And same thing with superhero movies. People are always talking about how they're going to go away. There's 30 coming until 2020. They're not going.
And they're all going to make a turn.
Yeah. So don't.
Maybe not Sony's, but
I mean,
but don't say that crap because they're a own genre among themselves now. Superheroes a genre. It's not part of the action. It's not part of the sci-fi. Because when you think about it, you have Guardians of the Galaxy, which is sci-fi. You had Iron Man, which is more action. But they're still all superhero movies, and that's why it's its own genre now.
Yeah. So speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, we should talk about, like we said we were going to, how they did in the box office. This weekend, $94 million. I know you guys went and saw it. I was on vacation. I didn't see it.
Yeah, twice.
And along with that, to this date, as of what is today? Today is August 8th. $134 million total. No, domestic, correct.
Worldwide, it's what
226.
226, which is really good because now if Iron Man made this, we'd be like,
yeah.
But this
is not Iron Man. I mean,
this is great.
These are Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody knows any of these characters. They don't have any big stars. Like the biggest star is Zoe Saldana, and she's not even huge. Or I guess you could say Bradley Cooper. He's
but then it's just his voice.
He's just a voice, which he did a phenomenal job. But you don't have huge stars aside from Bradley, and all he's doing is a voice. So I guess you have Glenn Close, but everybody who's a big star.
She was also great.
Everybody who's a big star is either a voice or a small role. So the big roles like Chris Pratt and Zoe Saldana, Lee Pace,
Nothing.
Oh, but yeah, they don't have as the more famous people don't have as big of roles, and these are characters that people don't know as well.
Yeah, like you guys were saying, there's no Robert Downey Jr. There's
Samuel L. Jackson.
Right, there's no developing characters, and it's just they're starting out on a limb. You got to start somewhere. Maybe 4 or 5 years from now. Wait, didn't we already announce? They said there was going to be a Guardians 2 in one of our last episodes.
Before it even came out.
Yeah, before the first Guardians came out, and. Maybe first box office, $94 million. Next box office, $250 million.
Who knows?
If they make that,
you never know.
If they make that, it's over for everybody.
The movie made a bunch of money and is getting stellar reviews. I think it's been holding a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes for a good 5 or 6 days. So I mean, it's held its own, and it's in the top 250 in the 30s on IMDb of the top 250 movies of all time. It's in the 30s. Already.
Wow, so that's good.
That's
early
ridiculous.
30s. It's like when I checked, it was 31. So
I mean, you got to figure that's going to drop, but because there's the new movie craze, but no other superhero movie this year is
the only other superhero movies that have made it that far are The Dark Knight, which is at 4,
right. And
I don't even think Rises or Batman Begins made it that far. This is the only Marvel movie to get that close to number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see it. I haven't seen it yet, and if you haven't seen it, don't watch that spoiler video. Go see the movie, and then go watch that video, because, I mean, it's going to be interesting for you. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, but
you need to get on that. It's a good movie.
I plan on going and seeing it soon.
So this is a good sign. I don't know how it's going to do this week with TMNT coming out.
TMNT, I couldn't see it affecting it at all.
I can, because they're a very recognizable brand.
I think more so.
Yeah, but it's more of a kids thing. Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't seem such,
the Guardians attracts a lot of different people.
Yeah, it's up and down. You have your fans of Marvel, and then you have you do have kids because it's a variety of characters. But then you also have just people who want to see a superhero movie. And, TMNT isn't a superhero movie by any means.
And even the kiddish characters like Rocket and Groot. Rocket carries a good machine gun.
Right. It's like, I saw the ad for it, may not be appropriate for kids under 13. Like, that's in their marketing. So you can only think, TMNT would never say that.
And as they've been saying in the trailers, it is the number 1 movie in the universe. Yeah. So that's good, too, as far as we know. Is that about it, guys?
I think it's a good place to wrap it up.
Okay. Subscribe, check out the blog. Am I forgetting anything?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And as always, stay film smart.